Knowing and trusting your machine goes hand in hand with being fast on the racetrack. You want to know that every bolt is tight. You want to know that the suspension has the right setup. You want to know that the tire pressures are in the right place. You need to set up the bars and controls correctly. Simply put, there's a lot of things that goes into trusting your bike. I spent this year racing Supermoto on a stock 2019 Husqvarna FS450. The bike was amazing for my first year of racing. It has excellent brakes, 63 horsepower, and weighs in at 103 kilograms, all fluids, no fuel. The chassis is very stiff, and the bike turns in reasonably quick with a 16.5-inch front wheel, 26.1 degrees rake angle, 16mm fork offset, and 1475mm wheelbase. It's the best stock ready-to-race Supermoto money can buy. While the bike has been amazing, for next year I really wanted to step it up with this bike. It's time to take the FS450 to the next level. Before moving forward with the build, I set up some goals. They are as follows. Improved control over the chassis geometry, including rake angle and wheelbase. Improved front and rear suspension. Shorter overall wheelbase for faster turn-in. Front brakes with faster response and harder braking with less force on the lever. More bottom end power for corner exits. More control over foot peg position and geometry. Better grip around the seat, and minimum mass impact. When I had the parts list ready, I started to put together a Photoshop rendering of them on the bike. This rendering doesn't contain all the parts, but a lot of them. I'm going for a Tekmo swing arm made out of 7050 aluminum. It will allow for significantly more adjustment of the wheelbase. Tekmo titanium and carbon fiber exhaust system, which in conjunction with an airbox modification and ECU flash will help me give more bottom end power. Seat concepts high grip seat, Fastway Evo 4 adjustable foot pegs, which will provide more control over the position of the pegs and the geometry on top. Öhlins RX48S front fork, better than the stock forks and will provide greater adjustability. FAOR adjustable triple clamps that allow for adjusting the rake angle significantly. Öhlins TTX Flow rear shock will provide better adjustability. Sycra Pro Bend handguards for better protection of my hands and the bars. 6-piston radial Beringer brakes for faster response and harder braking. Today I'm going to mount the seat, the exhaust system, the handguards and the foot pegs onto the bike. To know exactly how much mass I'm adding or removing from the bike, I weighed all the parts that I took off the bike as well as the new ones. It's easy to presume that aftermarket parts are lighter than the stock ones. I mean, they're supposed to be better, right? Well, in fact, every single part I'm going to put on the bike today will add mass. In total, I will be adding 1.3 kilograms today. While the parts will be adding mass, they also perform better in the areas that I want to improve. Thus, I'm okay with this for now. Time to start building. The handguards were an easy install. One cool thing about these handguards is that they mount directly to the handlebar clamps, which removes additional parts and makes them very robust. When you torque down the handlebar clamps, remember to do so in a crisscross pattern so that the clamps don't bias to one side. Now let's get on to the foot pegs. They are a fairly easy install. The cool thing about these foot pegs is that you can adjust the height of them with the included bracket. But most importantly, you can create a pattern with the included cleats. So why is that good? Well, if you have tall cleats in the center and shorter ones front and back, it's easier to pivot the foot on top of the pegs. If you want maximum grip, you can have them all really tall. If you want faster access to the brake or shifter, you can create like a little slope. A lot of riders that upgrade their bikes often forget about important parts like foot pegs, grips, and seats. Remember, these are your main interface with the bike. They have to be set up right for you to be comfortable, and a comfortable rider is a fast rider. All of the parts were easy to install except for the exhaust system, which took some effort to install because of the extremely tight fit. After about an hour, I had it in place. It was time for a quick test run. Tomorrow I was going to take it to the track.
Time to go out for a test ride.
The engine seems to have gained a significant amount of power with this new exhaust system. I should remind you that I previously drilled holes into the fairing over the airbox, which also helped with this. The amount of grip I got from the seat was great, and it allowed me to use less energy when braking, not having to hold myself back with the bars. The pegs also worked really well, making it easier to move around, which I do a lot since I use both superbike and dirt bike riding styles in different corners. In part 2, I'm going to mount the swing arm, the triple clamps, the suspension system, the brakes, and flash the ECU. That's gonna be super exciting. That's it for today. Over and out!
It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Cause baby, I feel real good and I wish I would. Watch out now. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now.